with invocation. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 23. Esa prapanno varado ramyatma saktaya yadyata karishyati gruhita gunavatara tasmin svakrama midam srujato apicheto yujjita karmasa malam cha yatha vijayaham.
The Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is always the benefactor of the surrendered souls. His activities are always enacted through his internal potency. Rama, or the goddess of fortune, I pray only to engage in his service in creation of the material world, and I pray that I not be materially affected by my works, for thus I may be able to give up the false prestige of being the creator.
Text 24. Nabi hyadahiha satom absi yashya pusham vignana sakti rahama samanta sakte rupam vichitramidamashya rivurnavato me marististi nigamyasya giram visharga.
The Lord's potencies are innumerable as he lies down in the water of devastation. I am born as the total universal energy from the navel lake in which the lotus sprouts. I am now engaged in manifesting his diverse energies in the form of the cosmic manifestation. I therefore pray that in the course of my material activities, I may not be deviated from the vibration of the Vedic hymns.
Text 25. So sabada brakarano bhagavana vivruddha prema smitena nainamabu roham vrisujaman shujaban uttaya vishwa vijayaya chachno vishadam madhyavya girapanyata purusha purana.
The Lord, who is supreme and is the oldest of all, is unlimited, merciful. I wish that he may smilingly bestow his benediction upon me by opening his lotus eyes. He can uplift the entire cosmic creation and remove our dejection by kindly speaking his directions.
Text 26. Maitra uvacha swaswambhava nishamyevata tapo vidya samadhibihi yamanna novacha stutva viraramasa khinnavrata.
The sage Maitreya said, "O Vidura, after observing the source of his appearance, namely the personality of Godhead, Brahma prayed for his mercy as far as his mind and words would permit him. Thus, having prayed, he became silent, as if tired from his activities of penance, knowledge, and mental concentration."
Text 27 to 28. Yatha bripettamana vikshya brahmano madhusudana Vishana chetasam tena kalpa vyatikara karamabhasa loka samsthana vignana atmanam parikidyata tamahagadaya vacha kasmalam samaya niva.
The Lord saw that Brahma was very anxious about the planning and construction of the different planetary systems and was depressed upon seeing the devastating water. He could understand the intention of Brahma, and thus he spoke in deep, thoughtful words, removing all the illusion that had arisen.
Text 29. Shri Bhagwan Vacha Ma Veda Garbha Grastan Nadima Dihi सर्ग उद्यममावह तन्न मया पादितं ह्यग्रे यन्मां पार्थयते भवान्.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead then said, O Brahma, O depth of Vedic wisdom, be neither depressed nor anxious about the execution of creation. What you are begging from me has already been granted before.
Text 30. Bhuyas, sorry, can you scroll it down, please? Bhuyastava tapa astita vidya cheva madashayam tabhyana hradaya brahman lokan dakshya yasya pavrutana.
O Brahma, situate yourself in penance and meditation and follow the principles of knowledge to receive my favor. By these actions, you will be able to understand everything from within your heart.
Text 31. Tata atmani loke cha bhakti yukta samahita drashta shimam tatam prahyanmayi lokana stavam atmana.
O Brahma, when you are absorbed in devotional service in the course of your creative activities, you will see me, you and throughout the universe, and you will see that you yourself, the universe and the living entities are all in me.
Text 32. Yada tu sarva bhuteshu darukshvama gni mivastitam prati chakshit maloko jahyatya have kasmalam.
You will see me in all living entities as well as all over the universe, just as fire is situated in wood. Only in that state of transcendental vision will you be able to be free from all kinds of illusion.
Text 33. Yada rahit matmanam bhutendriya gunakshaya swarupena mayopetam pashyam swarajyamamuchyati.
When you are free from the conception of gross and subtle bodies, and when your senses are free from all influences of the modes of material nature, you will realize your pure form in my association. At that time, you will be situated in pure consciousness.
Text 34. Nana karma vitanena prajabrahi shikshutakshatsta natma vasidatya smitste varshiyana madanugraha.
Since you have desired to increase the population innumerably and expend your varieties of service, you shall never be deprived in this matter, because my causeless mercy upon you will always increase for all time.
Text 35. Rusi madhya cha vraddhani papiyam stvam rajoguna yanmano mayi nirbaddham praja samshujato api te.
You are the original Rishi, and because your mind is always fixed on me, even though you will be engaged in generating various progeny, the vicious mode of passion will never encroach upon you.
Text 36. Natoham bhatva tvadya druvignoya api dehinam yanmam tvamamanyesu yuktam bhutendriya gunatmibi.
Although I am not easily knowable by the conditioned soul, you will know me today because you know that my personality is not constituted of anything material, and specifically not of the 5 gross and 3 subtle elements.
Text 37. Tubhyam adi chikitsaya atmano me darsito bahi nalena saline mulam pushparashya vichinvata.
When you were contemplating whether there was a source to the stem of the lotus of your birth, and you even entered into that stem, you could not trace out anything, but at that time I manifested my form from within.
Text 38. Yacha kartanga matrostrom matkatha vyudaya diktam yada tapasi te nishta sa yesha manugraha.
O Brahma, the prayers that you have chanted praising the glories of my transcendental activities, the penances you have undertaken to understand me, and your firm faith in me, all these are to be considered my causeless mercy.
Text 39. Pritoha mastu bhadram te lokanam vijayekshaya yadasto shri gunam vayam nirgunam manuvarnaya.
I am very much pleased by your description of me in terms of my transcendental qualities, which appear mundane to the mundaners. I grant you all benedictions in your desire to glorify all the planets by your activities.
Text 40. Ya yaten pumanitya stomstva sotrena ma bhajate yashyashu shama prasideya sarva kameswareswara.
Any human being who prays like Brahma and who thus worships me shall very soon be blessed with fulfillment of all his desires, for I am the Lord of all benediction.
Text 41. Purtena tapsa yagne dane yoga samadhina radram nishreyasha punsam mat pritista tatsa vatva vinamata.
It is the opinion of expert transcendentalists that the ultimate goal of performing all traditional good works, penances, sacrifices, charities, mystic activities, trances, etc., is to evoke my satisfaction.
Text 42. Ahamatmanam atmanam data presta sana preya shamapi yato mai ratim kruya tri hadya krute priya.
I am the super soul of every individual. I am the supreme director and the dearest. People are wrongly attached to the gross and subtle bodies, but they should be attached to me only.
Text 43. Sarva Veda Vayena the Atmana Atmayonina Praja Suja Yatha Purva Yascha Mayenu Serate.
By following my instructions, you can now generate the living entities as before, by dint of your complete Vedic wisdom and the body you have directly received from me, the supreme cause of everything.
Hare Krishna. Please forgive me if I made any mistakes.
Mataji,
one more 44, Mataji.
Oh, sorry. Text 44. Maitre Uvacha Tasma Evam Jagat Sraste Pradhana Puruseswara Vyaja Yeda Swarupena Kanjana Tarodade.
The sage Maitreya said, after instructing Brahma, the creator of the universe, to expand the primeval Lord, the personality of Godhead, in his personal form as Narayan, disappeared. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Shamataji and Dharmen Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the very nice recitation.
Thank you, Dharmendra Prabhu and Usha Mataji. So, okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'll make you the co-host now.
Sure. Dharmendra Prabhuji, good to see you on camera. after a long
Hare
time.
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhu.
So I guess I can share my screen.
Have you got the co-hosting rights, Prabhuji? Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can. Thank you.
Yeah. I hope you can see only the Vedabase page and not LinkedIn or something else.
Just the verses of the Veda base, Prabhuji.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. Because there are few screens I have and there are a lot of other windows. That's why. Okay. Great. So let's start. Um, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtaki Yam Pravrajantamanupetamapet Kutyam Dvaipayano Virahaka Aju Ava Putreti Tanmayatayo Taravo Vinedus Tam Sarvabhut Hridayam Manimanatosmi. So today we are reading last 4 verses from the 9th chapter of 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So let's start. 41, 42, 43 and 44, the last 4 verses. Purtena tapasa yadne dair niryoga samadhina aradham nishreyasam pumsam matpritis tattva vinmatam. So, word by word translation, putrena, purtena, sorry, my mistake. By traditional good work, tapasa, by penances, yadnehi, by sacrifices, danehi, by charities, yoga, by mysticism, samadhina, by trance, radham, success, nishreyam, ultimately beneficial, pumsam, of the human beings, mat, of me, pritihi, satisfaction, tattvavit, expert transcendentalist, matam, opinion. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. It is the opinion of expert transcendentalists that the ultimate goal of performing all traditional good works, penances, sacrifices, charities, mystic activities, trances, etc., is to invoke my satisfaction. Purport. There are many traditionally pious activities in human society, such as altruism, philanthropy, nationalism, internationalism, charity, sacrifice, penance, and even meditation in trance. And all of them can be fully beneficial only when they lead to the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The perfection of any activity, social, political, religious, or philanthropic, is to satisfy the Supreme Lord. This secret of success is known to the devotee of the Lord, as exemplified by Arjun on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. As a good, non-violent man, Arjun did not want to fight with his kinsmen, but when he understood that Krishna wanted the fight and had arranged it at Kurukshetra, he gave up his own satisfaction and fought for the satisfaction of the Lord. That is the right decision for an intelligent man. One's only concern should be to satisfy the Lord's by the Lord by one's activities. If the Lord is satisfied by an action, whatever it may be, then it is successful. Otherwise, it is simply a waste of time. That is the standard of all sacrifice, penance, austerity, mystic trance, and other good and pious work. Text number 42. It has a very long purport, so let's see. अहमात्मात्मनाधातः पृष्ठः सन् प्रेयसम् अपि अतो मयि रतिं कुर्योत् देहाद् कृते प्रियः. Aham, I am, Atma, the super soul, Atmanam, of all other souls, Dhataha, director, Prishtaha, the dearest, son, being, Presham, Preyasam, not Presham, of all dear things, Api, certainly, Ataha, therefore, Mai, unto me, Ratim, attachment, Kuryat, one should do, Deha Adihi, Adi, the body and mind, Yat Krite, on whose account, Priyaha, very dear. Translation: I am the super soul of every individual. I am the supreme director and the dearest. People are wrongly attached to the gross and subtle bodies, but they should be attached to me only. The Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is the dearest in both the conditioned and liberated states. When a person does not know that the Lord is the only dearmost object, then he is in the conditioned state of life. And when one knows perfectly well that the Lord is the only dearmost object, he is considered to be liberated. There are degrees of knowing one's relationship with the Lord, depending on the degree of realization as to why the Supreme Lord is the dearmost object of every living being. The real reason is clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita 15.7. Mamaivansho jivaloke jivabhutaha sanatana. The living entities are eternally parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. The living entity is called Atma and the Lord is called Paramatma. The living entity is called Brahma and the Lord is called Parabrahma or Param Ishvara. Ishvara Parama Krishna. The conditioned souls who do not have self-realization accept the material body as the dearmost. The idea of the dearmost is then spread all over the body, both concentrated and extended. The attachment for one's own body and its extensions, like children and relatives, is actually developed on the basis of the real living entity. As soon as the living entity is out of the body, even the body of the most dear son is no longer attractive. Therefore, the living spark or eternal part of the Supreme is the real basis of affection and not the body. Because the living entities are also parts of the whole living entity, the Supreme living entity is the factual basis of all of affection for all. One who has forgotten the basic principle of his love for everything has only flickering love because he is in Maya. The more one is affected by the principle of Maya, the more he is detached from the basic principle of love. One cannot factually love anything unless he is fully developed in the loving service of the Lord. In the present verse, stress is given to focusing love upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The word Kuryat is significant here. This means one must have it. It is just to stress that we must have more and more attachment to the principle of love. The influence of Maya is experienced by the part and parcel spiritual entity, but it cannot influence the super soul, the Paramatma. The Mayavadi philosophers, accepting the influence of Maya on the living entity, want to become one with Paramatma. But because they have no actual love for Paramatma, they remain ever entrapped by the influence of Maya and are unable to approach the vicinity of Paramatma. This inability, due to their lack of affection for the Paramatma, This inability is due to their lack of affection for the Paramatma. A rich miser does not know how to utilize his wealth, and therefore, in spite of his being very rich, his miserly behavior keeps him everlastingly a poor man. On the other hand, a person who knows how to utilize wealth can quickly become a rich man, even with a small credit balance. The eyes and the sun are very intimately related because without sunlight, the eyes are unable to see, but the other parts of the body, being attached to the sun as a source of warmth, take more advantage of the sun than do the eyes. Without possessing affection for the sun, the eyes cannot bear the rays of the sun. Or, in other words, such eyes have no capacity uh, to understand the utility of the sun's rays. Similarly, the empiric philosophers, despite their theoretical knowledge of Brahma, cannot utilize the mercy of the Supreme Brahma because they lack affection. So many impersonal philosophers remain everlastingly under the influence of Maya because although they indulge in theoretical knowledge of Brahma, they do not develop affection for Brahma, nor do they have any scope for development of affection because of their defective method. A devotee of the sun god, even though devoid of eyesight, can see the sun god as he is even from this planet. Whereas one who is not a devotee of sun cannot even bear the glaring sunlight. Similarly, by devotional service, even though one is not on the level of jnani, one cannot see the personality of Godhead within himself due to his development of pure love. In all circumstances, one should try to develop love of Godhead, and that will solve all contending problems. So let's go to the next verse. Sarvavedamaye nedam atmana atmana atmatma yonina प्रजा सूर्य यथा पूर्व याश्च मय्यनु शेरते. Sarva, all, Vedamayena, under complete Vedic wisdom, idam, this, Atmana, by the body, Atma, you, Atma Yonina, directly born of the Lord, Prajaha, living entities, Srija, generate, Yathapurvam, as it was herein before, Ya, which, Cha, also, Mai, in me, Anusherate, lie. Translation: by following my instruction, you can now generate the living entities as before by dint of your complete Vedic wisdom and the body you have directly received from me, the supreme cause of everything. So let's from the last verse. Maitreya Vacha Tasma evan jagat strashte pradhana purusheshwaraha vyajedam swena rupena kanjana bhastirodhade. Maitreya Vacha, the sage Maitreya said, Tasmai, unto him. Okay. Evam, thus, Jagat Srashte, unto the creator of the universe. Pradhana Purusha Ishvaraha, the primeval Lord, the personality of Godhead. Vyajed idam, after instructing this, Swena, in this person, Rupena, by the form, Kanjana, the personality of Godhead, Narayana, Tirodhate, they disappeared. Translation: the sage Maitreya said, after instructing Brahma, the creator of the universe, to expand the primeval Lord, the personality of Godhead, in his personal form as Narayana, disappeared. Purport: before his activity in creating the universe, Brahma saw the Lord. That is the explanation of Chatushloki Bhagavatam. When the creation awaited Brahma's activity, Brahma saw the Lord, and therefore the Lord existed in his personal form before the creation. His eternal form is not created by the attempt of Brahma, as imagined by less intelligent men. The personality of Godhead appeared as he is before Brahma, and he disappeared from him in the same form, which is not materially tinged. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the third canto, ninth chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Brahma's Prayers for Creative Energy. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So let's chant our Mangala Charana and then we will start our discussions. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। गजाननमितभुजौ कनकावधातौ संकीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वम्भरौ द्विजभरौ युगधर्मपाल वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणा अवतारौ। यन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसूप्तां सञ्जीवयत्य अखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना। अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणाश्रवणात् त्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। So पूर्तेन तपसा यज्ञेदैर् निर्योगसमाधिना राद्धं निःश्रेयसं पुंसां मत्प्रीतिस् तत्त्वविन्मतम्। It is the opinion of expert transcendentalists that the ultimate goal of performing all traditional good works, penances, sacrifices and charities, mystic activities, trances, etc., it is to invoke my satisfaction. So, because it is coming to the end of this chapter, which is a very beautiful chapter, Lord Brahma's prayers for creative energy. So let's quickly see the continuation of this. Initially, origin of the Lord's supreme form, who is the supremely knowable object, is the origin of all forms, and that's the first 5 verses are explaining us. Who is the most auspicious form. And then in the, you can say 5 to 10 or 6 to 10, it's the misidentification, which is the cause of anxiety. Unfortunate people who cannot hear, who cannot grab, who cannot understand, and they keep speculating and complaining, and how the miserable condition of the living entities is, who are not connected to this, who do not understand of the purpose of life. Bodily identification of a blind man, spiritually blind, and the frustration of non-devotees. So that's what the second section we had a look at. 6 to 10 or 5 to 10. 5 is basically dweller of devotee's heart. So that's where Lord gives that he glorifies how he indirectly, Prabhupada in his purport, he talks about how the sane man understand that Shirodakshay Vishnu, Karanodakshay Vishnu, Shirodakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and they understand the reasoning behind it and how we are part and parcel of the Lord. From 11 to 13, we can say Lord's reciprocation with various devotees, and the earlier, the beautiful prayers are there. Before that, before this section, Lord Brahma is giving, he's saying that with all the facilities, we are all supposed to perform the sadhana, the worship of the Lord in various forms as per the Yuga Dharma, as per this Yuga Kali Yuga. We are supposed to chant the holy name of the Lord, Sankirtan movement, Lord Chaitanya's prime benediction for the deliverance in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, and how Lord reciprocates. So yesterday we celebrated Gaur Purnima, and that's the reason I'm going through the sections why it is, what the impetus behind creation and where we are right now. So pure devotees will dwell in their hearts to see him through their ears. So that's very important. The prime message of Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Nityanand Prabhu and all our Sankirtan movement, they are always eager to hear Krishna Katha. Machchitamad Gata Prana Bodhayantu Parasparam Kathayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Charamanti Cha. Demigods, what is their position, why they are not satisfied, and what is their what do you call, as Kunti Devi says, Janma Ishwar Shrutibhir, that if a person is ornamented, if they're engaged with their bodily beauty, the opulence of any type, any of those opulences shared by the Lord with the living entity. And as we have gone through, that demigods are very much into this mood of enjoyment because they have exceptional facilities and intelligence to enjoy this material world. Body, wealth, strength, lot of things. And for those personalities, it is very difficult to give up the results of their activities, the fruitive activities for the Lord. So Nishkam Karma Yoga is even distant dream. And that's the section up to verse number 13. And then Supreme Lord is giving the glories of his opulences. Basically, the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan is here giving the crux of that, about his opulences. What is Brahma and who is Bhagwan, then how merciful the holy name is. Again, coming back to yesterday's point of Gauranga Mahaprabhu's appearance and the importance of the merciful mercy of the holy name. That once Srila Prabhupada was saying in his lecture that why holy name is the most merciful, because personal form of the Lord, there is always a relationship, there is always an expectation from devotees, and obviously because ye yathamam prapadyante tam sathaiva bhajamyam, Lord also has expectation of devotees in those So unless someone is qualified to serve the Lord, it is very difficult to come to that platform of very personal devotional service. But holy name, even if somebody is completely unqualified, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the holy name to any unqualified person as well, just that person has to have that swikruti, that desire. That person can chant the holy name, and then even all the sinful activities, Lord is ready to cleanse personally. And that's what the entire Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Charitamrut, Chaitanya Bhagavat, if you go through, this is the um, hope against hope for all of us, that even if we are dull-headed, manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya upadruta, still there is a hope that Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will bestow his mercy upon us. And um, through that, Nama Namakari Bahuda, Nija Sarva Shakti, Tatrarpita Niyamita Hasmarane Nakadha, the second verse, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that there is, as the name reveals the form of the Lord, Nama Namakari Bahuda, all his qualities, Nija Sarva Shaktis, all Shakti, all the powers of all the opulences of the Lord are there in the holy name. Only thing is, when our heart is very hard-hearted, we are very hard-hearted, heart is very rigid, that holy name doesn't, we are not ready to accept. Holy name's power is always there. So the cleansing of the heart needs to be there, Chetodarpanamarjanam. And then Mahaprabhu talks about the mood there, how we should be chanting and receiving the holy name. And that's our all Harinam Diksha processes. So various transcendental forms Lord talks about in the for after the time factor, in this section of 14 to 19, and that's where Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu, they have those beautiful exchanges. How Garbharakshay Vishnu is in the Yoga Nidra and all that. And then in 22 to 25, Lord Brahma has desire. He's in the mode of passion, so he has that desire to create, to have that progeny, and that's the whole reason behind this Lord Brahma's what do you call his whole idea of creation of this small universe, the egg-shaped small universe, and then how it should be. So he has planned. There is some kind of what do you call some craftsmanship. Sorry, I have a cold, so it's bit my pronunciations are not a bit clear. But he has some idea of craftsmanship in his head, that how this universe he is going to create and what it is going to be. Of course, as this course of Bhagavatam progresses, you will come to know that what happened here, how the free will of all the living entities and the supreme free will of the Lord, the most compassionate, the most munificent, the most glorious desire of the Lord, that every living entity he wants back in the Vaikuntha, in the spiritual world. And how that happens, this entire Srimad Bhagavatam will give us some beautiful narrations of the activities of the Lord, activities of the devotees, and how Lord mercifully wants all the devotees to come back to him. So that's where Brahma is aware that his father, Vishnu, he's the ultimate creator, and he's saying that protect me from my false ego. You are the original creator, and save me from deviation, thinking that yes, I am the creator. And that's what that's what this last few important verses up to 25, the half of this chapter, is this cycle of Lord Brahma and Bhagwan, Lord Vishnu, and going back and forth. He's expressing. Actually, if we see, though it is written in, there are verses here, but Lord Brahma is initiated within. Chaitya Guru is his father, is his Lord, is the Lord. And so Lord Vishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu exactly knows what's there in Lord Brahma's heart, what he wants to do. And then Supreme Lord's reply to Lord Brahma, he talks about, then he says, who am I? Lord Brahma's confusion. And then he says, follow the penances, those 100 celestial years, and devotion to see everything in relation to Vishnu, to Supreme Lord. And that's what Lord's instructions are. Penance, perseverance, transcendental vision of absorbed devotee, how it should be. And Lord Vishnu is giving him the vision of a devotee, how a devotee should be. What is the stage of attainment? And then the Father is offering the benedictions, the mercy to his beloved son, Lord Brahma. He is telling that my mercy on you will increase. Now, one more thing we should keep in mind here, that all the three personalities, Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva, at our level, they are at the same platform. That's what Lord Vishnu says, the Supreme Lord says even later. They are empowered by the Supreme Lord in this creation, maintenance, and destruction. And Srila Prabhupada gives a very, very important, very essential point here. He says that in Bhagavatam, at many places, and in Bhaktirasamrita Sindhu, in his commentary, even Rupa Goswami gives a very important point of related to the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Brahma is not under the Rajoguna here. When he has that mood of a devotee, he's not influenced by Rajoguna. He's using Rajoguna to create, to fulfill the desire of the Lord. So when he is chanting certain mantra, certain words, certain verses, because Lord has entered in a different chakra of Lord Brahma's body, and that's the reason he can utter certain words. So that's where Lord is telling him up to verse 40 that Rajogun, which you are going to use, it will not bind you. You will use that Rajogun. You understand me because they have that face-to-face interaction. Lord Brahma knows who his father is. And then Lord is saying, I manifest within you when you are, I manifested within you when you are searching. But my causeless mercy, you have, but by because of my causeless mercy, you have offered the prayers. So throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, we will see that all the prayers which are offered to the Lord is because of the mercy of the Lord. It's so relishing that those beautiful prayers are for purification of other living entities. But how to purify the living entity is also empowered, is also given, that secret, the formula, that empowerment is also given by the Supreme Lord himself. And then our job, or the living entity's job, is the Swikruti, acceptance of those prayers. And when we accept it and repeat those prayers back, which are because of Lord's empowerment, Lord says that I am pleased. That acceptance is the main point where Lord says that I am pleased. And the same thing happened for Lord Brahma. And in the 40th verse, we saw that all desires will be fulfilled for the one who prays like this. That's what, and this is in continuation of that. So, particularly which uh, chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where this translation and purport is related to? Let's come to this point, today's topic. How much time we have spent? Oh, okay. We discussed everything else when today's topic. So let's come to that. It is the opinion of expert transcendentalists that ultimate goal of performing all traditional good works, penances, sacrifices, charities, mystic activities, trances, etc., is to invoke my satisfaction. That's what Krishna is saying. But in the 6th chapter, if we go back here, the first few verses are very important verses for all of us. Uddharedatmanatmanam na atmanam avasadayet. Atmayva manobandhur atmaiva riparatmanaha. One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. And here that Atma denotes body, mind, and soul. It's a very, very beautiful purport Srila Prabhupada has given here. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada talks about some of the important verses from Upanishad, especially Shvetashvatar Upanishad, because Shvetashvatar Upanishad brings the relationship between the Paramatma and Atma, Bhagwan and Jivatma. And Amrita Bindu Upanishad is the one where this verse is from. For man, mind is the cause of bondage and mind is the cause of liberation. Mind absorbed in sense objects is the cause of bondage, and mind detached from sense objects is the cause of liberation. Amrita Bindu Upanishad. Therefore, the mind, which is always engaged in Krishna consciousness, is the cause of supreme liberation. So, how to use the mind is here. By following the spiritual activities, by following our Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, and right use of mind, what will happen? That is the result here. For him, Bandhuratma manastasya yenatmai vatmana jitaha anatmanastu shatrutve vartetat maiva shatruvat. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends, but who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. So if we see in this very long purport, Prabhupada talks something very important point here, that why Svikruti, whatever comes on our plate, it's a part of our karmic reactions, and also the mercy. So anything good, bad, ugly, everything comes to us. It is part of our share in this material world, and the whole idea of enjoyment is so illusory. Is given in the purports of especially in the 6th chapter. So if we see, the purpose of practicing Eightfold Yoga is to control the mind in order to make it a friend in discharging the human mission. Unless the mind is controlled, the practice of yoga, for sure, is simply a waste of time. So can you see, in earlier purports as well, Srila Prabhupada is saying why we should be careful about not wasting time, the most precious gift. One who cannot control his mind lives always with the greatest enemy, and thus his life and its mission are spoiled. The constitutional position of the living entity is to carry out the order of the superior. As long as one's mind remains an unconquered enemy, one has to serve the dictations of lust, anger, avarice, illusion, greed, etc. Greed is not there, but it's part of the package. But when the mind is conquered, one voluntarily agrees to abide by the dictation of the personality of Godhead, who is situated within the heart of everyone as Paramatma. Real yoga practice entails meeting the Paramatma within the heart and then following his dictation. For one who takes to Krishna consciousness directly, perfect surrender to the dictation of the Lord follows automatically. So you can see the whole 6th chapter, every purport is very much connected to this section of this chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. If we go back here, yes, intelligent man and one's only concern should be to satisfy the Lords by one's activities, and that activity is what? Our daily sadhana, daily, our regulated devotional service. If the Lord is satisfied by an action, whatever it may be, then it is successful. Otherwise, it is simply a waste of time. Now, let's go to the important, interesting, and very important point here, as Srila Prabhupada is saying. So, how to satisfy the Lord? First understanding is we are all part and parcel of the Lord. Mamaivansho jiva loke jiva bhukta sanatana. So, we are eternally parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, and we are Atma related to Paramatma. Parama Ishvara is the Supreme Lord. And who is that? Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindam Sarva Karana Karanam. Now, here Srila Prabhupada is giving an important analogy of sun. Our all 5 senses are related to 5 elements. Who can join those pairs? Which sense is related to which of our organs? Who can shed some light on that? Anyone in the? Okay, the one is very clear here in this purport. Eyes are related to fire. So one is salt, fire is related to eyes. Now there are 4 remaining. Let's go through one by one. Ear, hearing is related to which element? Out of Pancha Mahabhuta, Prithvi, Aap, Tej, Vayu, Akash, earth, fire, water, air, ether. Ear is related to, or hearing is related to what? Which element? Sound. Sound is the is also a knowledge acquiring sense. It's the medium, which is for what the ear is. But which element out of 5? It is. Is it ether, Prabhuji? Ether? Yes, ether. Correct. Yeah. So Akash, ether, is related to hearing, sound, and that's what our ears are. So now let's go to the next one. What's the next? Anyone we can pick? Mataji, Prabhuji. So we have covered fire,
water, air.
Yeah, ear we just covered. Ear is related to?
No, air, water.
Air, okay.
Yeah.
Air. So air is related to what? Which sense is related to air?
The breathing, the nostrils.
Yeah, nostril.
Nostrils.
Agree. But there is something more to it. Wind is air. So air is related to something which is what are the senses, what are the organs which are related to those knowledge acquiring senses?
Breath, breathing.
Yeah, breathing is different. Let's come to the point of eyes. Then with ear, there are other as well. One is taste.
Nostril. Taste.
Which is related to tongue. What is that? Rasoham apsu kaunteya. What Lord says in
Water.
water. Yeah. Prithvi, Aap, Tej, Vayu, Akash. So we have covered 3 so far. Tej, Akash, and Aap. Means those 3 we have covered. So 2 are remaining. One is Vayu, air. Mataji said Vayu. That must be related to some sense now. What is that? Now 2 more are remaining. One is air, and the last one is Prithvi.
Touch.
Earth, correct? So those are. I understand it is little bit of a perplexing, but I will give you the clue now. One is our twacha, is our skin,
Skin.
and second is a smell.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So twacha is related to, the skin is related to?
Prithvi.
No, skin is related. What we get on the
To touch.
touch, and that touch comes from Vayu, because when there is a movement of air, what we feel, the first feeling what we get is where? To the skin, correct?
Yeah.
And the smell comes from earth.
Mm.
Every single type of smell it's coming from earth. So earth is related to the sense of smell. Now, interesting bit here is, we have gone through the purports. So this is an interesting part, which is there in if you read the Nectar of Devotion commentaries of our acharyas, you will come to know what we do, how we perform puja, and what's the reasoning behind it. So, in all 5 senses are related to 5 elements: earth, fire, water, air, ether, and all our 5 senses are related to that. Now, our senses are incomplete. That's what Krishna says in the Gita, right? Imperfect senses. And why? Because in recent example is COVID. When people lost the sense of smell, their sense of eating, or what they were eating, they were not getting there. The taste was gone. So those are interdependent, right? The taste wasn't there. The proper taste wasn't there. Why? Because that flavor, that sense of smell wasn't there. So our senses are interdependent, incomplete. Only the Supreme Lord's senses are complete. And that is why, just by looking at the Naivedyam, the Bhoga, he can taste it, he can smell it. Those are complete senses. Just by one sense, he can actually get the complete flavor, the taste, the smell, everything of that Naivedyam, whatever we offer to him. And when we are offering puja, we are offering our Naivedyam, the paraphernalia. When we do his arati, what we do there? First thing we offer him incense. Incense gives what? The smell. So our sense of smell, we are trying to connect. We are offering it to the Lord. When we offer the arati, the jodh, the flame, that means our eyes, oh Lord, let me see, let my senses be purified by offering this arati to you, to these flames, those jyoti to you. And in the same manner, we offer him water in a conch shell. And that means our sense of taste. So everything we are trying to taste, it should be the prasad. It should, please be merciful upon me that this water I am offering, that sense of taste, let that mercy flow from you so that I can connect my sense of taste to you. I can offer it to you. And in the same way, everything we offer, the vastra is the sense of touch. Then the chamar, air, and then we blow the conch shell. That is the sound. We chant the holy name. So that's how the Rishikesha, Rishika means senses, Isha means God, Lord, the owner. So we are trying to connect our senses with the owner of the senses, Rishikesh. And that is the mood of puja, that is the mood of worship to the deities. And that's the background behind it. So that's what here, if we see knowledge of Brahma and what Prabhupada is giving here, the sun god, the blind man and the person who is not blind, but he is a non-devotee, he cannot relate to it. But even though devoid of eyesight, can see the sun god as he is even from this planet, whereas one who is not a devotee of sun cannot bear the glaring sunlight. Now we can relate to it, what we talked about our senses and how those senses we can relate to the Supreme Lord. So does it make sense? Is everyone okay with this? Can we relate to this? And then this verse doesn't have purport, but it's a very important instruction. The generation of this material world, of this universe, how Lord empowered Lord Brahma, going through all the chakras, Manipur chakra, Muladhar chakra, Manipur chakra, Sahasrara chakra, Vishuddha chakra, Ajna chakra, and all other chakras. And that's how the Lord entered through different chakras. And that's how Lord Brahma started uttering certain mantras, some words, and that's how the living entities were created. So that's what this verse is talking about. And then this is the 44th verse. I have opened it again here. And 3944. Eightfold yoga system. What yoga is, yoga means to connect, viyog means to detach, to so every yoga system, the ultimate objective, if you read Patanjali Yoga Sutra or Yoga Shastra, or including Bhagavad Gita, every single chapter, if you read the Sanskrit name of that Bhagavad Gita chapter, it is all ends with yoga. First name of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Second chapter is Sankhya Yoga. Third chapter's name is Karma Yoga. So all yoga. That means by everything should be connected to the Supreme Lord. That's what those chapters are telling us. And that's what the learning lesson for us is. Arjuna is saying, yes, I am confused. I don't know what to do. I don't want to fight. But whom is he telling? To Krishna. Because he's trying to connect. He's connecting all his feelings, all his sentiments to the Supreme Lord. And that's what the meaning of yoga is. And we talked about the mind, which comes from the 6th chapter, where Lord is giving all the details of the mind. And if we in all this 41 to 44, Krishna is telling here about one very important point, and that point is he is the supreme knower and no one else. He knows how to do it, what to do it, and as per his instructions only things will work as we are supposed to be fitting in that particular dice. And that's what Lord is telling in this, not only in this chapter, later on, Lord Kapil Dev, when he's giving all the Parama Brahma Jnan to his mother Devavati, he gives it in very intricate details there. So that will come later in. I think time is up. We will start. We will stop here. We have 5 minutes. Are there any questions or comments or any additions, any reflections? No questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasinubhyo
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Thank you very much.
Nantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice class. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful class.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you, Prabhuji.